When she asked me the question that was on her heart, I could tell she really meant it. She looked up at me with a somewhat frightened look in her eyes and asked, "What if it's all a lie? What if Jesus did not rise from the dead and all this was made up? What if there really is no God and everything we've been taught in religion class is not true?" I could tell that this was a terrifying thought to her. I wasn't sure if she expected me to say something or whether she just needed someone safe to whom she could say it all out loud. Then she looked somewhere far away and quietly said it all again. "What if it's all a lie?" It wasn't the only time I heard some version of the question of faith or of the ultimate truths or of the meaning in life. Not by a long shot. Some 35 years ago or more, I heard it clearly from a priest friend of mine. This friend is well respected in the archdiocese, very smart, a good preacher. His mom had died too young, and he asked, "What if there really is no life after death?" And he said this time quietly, "What if this is it?" I could see in his eyes that it was truly frightening to him and that this question went to his core. And often enough, I've heard the question asked something along this line. Is it really worth it? I mean, is it worth it to try to be the kind and loving person that Jesus asks? I mean, does it really pay off to follow him? So many people are mean and seem to get away with it. So many people are selfish, but also rich and are powerful, are famous. This Jesus stuff is really hard. Is it really worth it to try to be a good person? Over my years, all of these questions have, at one point or another, visited me as well. I too have wondered. I mean, how do we really know this is all true? And is there really life after death? And it is hard work to become more authentic and loving human beings. Is it worth it? Maybe you've wondered as well. Perhaps this is one advantage for me of being as old as I am. Now, when I find those questions surface in me, because sometimes they still do, there is a response that also seems to emerge from inside of me somewhere. It's the same question Peter had today. I hear myself ask, "Lord, to whom else would I go?" To whom else would I go? Over the years, I've had my times of discouragement with the church, disagreement. These days, it's more that I get disheartened by the ugliness of our political divisions and by the strident voices and angry rhetoric. I am discouraged by it all. I am. We have let ourselves become so divided and so often so mean-spirited. It's just so painful. Being peacemakers these days is tough. Living with integrity, finding ways to remain hopeful and grateful and caring is difficult. But then the question arises, to whom else would we go? I've seen plenty of people retreat into bitterness or cynicism. There is no peace for our hearts there. Some are tempted to bury themselves into making more money or whatever, bigger and better things. I have never seen that take away anyone's emptiness. Some get deeper into addictions, social media, porn, drinking. There's no life there. Some get more black and white in their thinking, more rigid in their religion, more fanatical about their causes, so that they don't have to feel the pain of ambiguity or to do the hard work of a more humble and more mature way of living. This does not bring joy. It doesn't. Some just get more and more angry. That approach never yields a happy life. Though they are easy temptations, I've never seen those things work. Now, I'm not telling you anything you don't know when I tell you that going through the pandemic for this past year and a half has been tough for most of us on some levels and extraordinarily difficult for many. In my preaching, I've sometimes talked about the anxiety, the depression, and the struggles so many of us have faced. As best as I could, I've offered some of my thoughts and strategies for coping and for keeping ourselves together with God's help. And if you want, you can go to homilies on our webpage under the You Are Loved banner to listen again or for the first time. But for now, what I want to do is to state as simply as I can what I have come to believe. In the midst of all of the doubts and the big questions and all the letting goes, this is what I choose to trust right now. These 4 things, and I've experienced them in my life. With all my heart, I believe, 1, love wins. It does. Love wins. 2, human goodness is the best thing ever. It is an actual taste of the goodness of God. 3, there is a community of believers whose goodness I can count on. And your goodness makes more of a difference to me than you know. And I hope that you find people to sustain you along the way. And 4, Jesus is worth my life. His way is the path to joy. When all swirls around me, when life is sad or weird or scary for me, I pray that I cling to what Jesus lived and preached and showed as possible, because his way is the way to a life of deepest meaning and most profound joy. When I am truly aware and most alive, I know he is worth my life. So there it is. Aaron put it this way in today's first reading. As for me and my household, we will serve the Lord. I say, Lord, to whom else would I go?